Right, welcome back again. So what are we on? Today I have been wet flattening all the primer, and yeah, it's been an up and down day really. So I started with the roof, and as I've flattened it back and kind of wiped it off with a cloth, obviously it leaves a sheen on the roof, and I've just noticed a few dimples and little bits that I wasn't happy with. So I've had to put some filler on, sand that back, and then I found some more bits and then some more bits, and I also found a bit on the front wing. I don't know, it was like it'd been dented from the inside out, so I've had to tap that back. I sanded it with I've got a new little palm sander. I think only 50 quid. Yeah, so I sanded it back with that, and it went back to bare metal. So I've then thought, right, well, I'm going to have to etch prime and put another coat over that on the wing, and I've got to do the roof as well. So I did burn through on the other side of the roof. There was a little lump there as well, so I've burnt all the way through, so I've actually etched prime that, and so I'm going to put what I'm going to put on. I'm going to put primer on that and that 2K primer, leave that overnight, and then tomorrow I'm hoping, all going well, I'm going to put a colour on the car. So yeah, I'll just show you some of the bits where it's burnt through. Some of it I did do with a palm sander, some of it I've just done by hand. Well, I've wet flatted it all by hand, but some of it was the filler primer was quite, not thick, but it didn't lay very well, so it took quite a lot of flattening back. So I did 600 grit on the palm sander over most of the flat and bigger parts, and then 800 wet flattening. So yeah, so whilst digging around, I realised I didn't have the boot part that has the number plate lights in it, which I just found. I've prepped that, so I'm going to spray that in primer as well. The door hinges, I've got to spray them in primer, so I'm going to do them tonight. And then tomorrow, what am I doing tomorrow? So I'm going to Scotch pad everything, just Scotch pad the inside of the boot and the bonnet, and then I'm going to spray them when I do the main shell, and then I can do the outside of the boot and the bonnet when I do the doors. I've got a plan in my head of how I'm going to do that. So yeah, I'll just show you around. What else was it? Yeah, I think that's it. Have a look. Yes, I've got the hinges. Never remember what that's called. Yeah, so this is the bit on the wing. I did take some photos of it, but I forgot to sort of record it before I etch primed it. But since I've sprayed that on and I've obviously rubbed it all back, I had to tap it in a bit. That's nigh on perfect now. So, and then yeah, the roof, you can see the brown bits or pukey bits are filler. The white bits are the epoxy primer. This is where I burnt through to the bare metal. There was just a bit of a lump there again, I don't know why, but Little bit on the corner there, and then just going around. Bigger stores around there. So again, I've not gone all the way through there, so that didn't need edge priming. And then there was a something there. The roof actually had quite a lot of dents in it that I didn't even notice, and there was just this bit on the corner here. So I'm just going to tape up polythene up all around the roof gutter, and then, so I don't want to get, obviously I've got to tape up before I start spraying tomorrow. I've got to put all the polythene or brown sheeting all in the window openings, boot and so on, but the priming has actually sanded back okay. Yeah, I'm really happy with it actually. Yeah, it's exciting to think I'm gonna have possibly have it in paint tomorrow. So yeah, so the plan is tomorrow prep, spray, and then what I'll probably do once that's drying, because I haven't got the Matric here, it's gone off for service, so I've got a space in there, so I can then take the doors in there to prep them ready for Monday, because it's Bank Holiday Monday. So Monday I'm hoping to get the doors, the other side of the boot and the bonnet painted, and then we should be able to take the curtain down. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Welcome back. I've done all my prep work. I've hoovered the whole garage, obviously that side of the screen. I've hoovered the whole car. I've hoovered everywhere. I've put sheets up where I need to. Obviously I've taped up all the windows and doors, and so I've just got to degrease. I've degreased it once. I've just got to degrease it again, and then I'm good to paint. So I'm just going to show you around quick before I start. Let's do a few. So yeah, it's all looking good. So it just needs one more degrease. So the plan is obviously I'm going to spray the shell. Then at the same time I'm doing the engine bay. So that's all done as one. And there's no tape lines here. I'm going to do the inside of the bonnet. Because basically I can get all these edges. Then tomorrow I'm going to paint the doors. So then I'll be able to paint the top of the bonnet without having to turn it over and fanning around with that. And the same with the boot. Again, I can blow in kind of around the edges and I can just rub that back tomorrow. So I've also got door hinges to spray, the boot light thing. I'm actually gonna do the petrol caps again, and I've got the boot hinges and the little screws to do. Yeah, I cannot do any more than I've done. Looking over the bodywork, it actually all looks, I'd say nigh on perfect, but I'd have to use nigh on. The roof, I don't know, it's different in different lights. It's like there's maybe little dimples here and there, but I can't really see anymore. I've done what I can see, but yeah, it's a 50-year-old roof, so not much I can do now. So I've got my little fan all set up with my paints. And what else is it? I've just got to wet the floor and then I'm good to go. So I'd say about an hour it'll all be painted. Welcome back. We have a sprayed car. Yeah, it's I'm actually really happy with it. Yeah, couple of runs here and there. The paint's thick enough that I'll be able to get them buffed out. Yeah, it went really well actually. So I did the shell, and then I did the while I did the shell, I did the back of the boot and the back of the bonnet. And I'd already done the seam strips, but I had to redo them because there was a couple of runs and some were a little bit grinny. And then covered all that up, and then I sprayed the outside of the boot and the bonnet and both sides of the doors, and they've come up really well too. Boot number plate light thingy, forget what it's called, and boot hinges all done. Yeah, it's looking amazing. So I'm just going to show you around, and I'm going to talk to you about what I use, what gun I used, and the next steps. All right. It's probably difficult to see on camera, and as I well know, things don't always look as good on camera in photos as they do in real life, but if I'm completely honest, it needs minimal flatting. Now you can see maybe there's just a little creep of run starting there. But it's on a flat part, so it'll easily sand back and then be able to cut and polish that out. Yeah, it's there are some little flicks here and there in the paint, but you know, I've obviously got the fan, extraction fan. I hoovered all the garage, I did everything I could do. You know, this isn't a spray booth, so you know, I kind of resigned to the fact that I'm going to get some sort of flicks in that in the paint, but again, it's minimal. So yeah, like I say, it's very difficult to say yeah it's amazing. I suppose once you get in the sunlight, that's when all the defects and stuff really sort of start showing up. But it is a good thick coat everywhere. I mean, looking at it now on the camera, through the back of the GoPro, it looks yellow-ish, but it's not. It's a really deep orange, and as you can see, it's a sea of orange on the floor. I mean, I did put water down, but I don't know whether that's aided it, adhesion to the floor, or I don't know. I will try and clean it up, but yeah, nightmare. Yeah, it's so difficult to say, you know, to show it's true. I mean, it may look amazing on the camera. I'm especially pleased with these joints. I mean, I've done what, 3 or 4 cars now. And I've got to say, the pat on the back to me, that they are extremely good joints. And I will say, Minis are the hardest car to spray. I mean, if you think trying to get in all the nooks and crannies, all around, all behind there, it's but I've managed to get good coverage everywhere. Yeah, what can I say? There's a little tiny run there, but I'll be able to get, once the paint fully cures, I'll be able to just I've got a special tool that'll take the face off of that. Just, yeah. And you know what? What made this a lot easier? I know people say, you know, you can spray with any gun and any paint, but I'm sorry, I completely disagree with that. Completely disagree. The gun I've got and the activator hardener I've used, it's the glossy finish on it is amazing. Hopefully after 2 or 3 days it's not going to sink back, I hope. So yeah, so that's the shell. Yeah, what can I say? Such a huge milestone. It's been 2.5 years now. So boot again, love it, just laid on beautifully. Few flicks here and there. Doors, yeah, just no runs on the doors, which I'm very happy about. Normally get a run these sort of areas where just it builds up, but I think previously I've taped up the inside because I normally do spray the inside and then spray the outside, and I don't like the overspray blowing through, but I've come up with a method of spraying both sides of the doors in one go. So, and then the bonnet, I mean, I'm still got the garage super hot. Oh, sorry. Just a little run there. Just a little run there, which is behind the bonnet badge, and I didn't notice that when I was spraying. Just built up a little bit on that corner there. So yeah, push come to shove, I can always respray the bonnet 3 times. Hinges, good coverage. Seam strips have come up really nice now. Boot thingy come up really nice, and obviously the boot hinges. Petrol caps came up okay as well. Yeah, so what did I use? So I've got a DeVilbiss DV1. It's for solids and clear coat, and it's once you can, it's got a built-in pressure gauge, and the adjustment for it is there. So it shortens the length, especially useful getting inside boots and stuff, because it shortens the length because you don't have to have an inline pressure gauge on it. It's 500 odd quid, but worth every single penny for me. I've actually got a base, the DV1 base gun as well, but yeah, amazing. And then for the hardener, the paint and hardener is Churchill paints. It's got good UV value properties. It's gone on really well, and it wasn't too expensive. So for the 2.5 litre tin, it was about 30 quid for the hardener, and I've paid nearly 200 quid before for the ERA lacquer activator. So yeah, but that was the lacquer and the activator, but that's just obviously the hardener for the solid paint. So yeah, what next? Well, what's next is we're taking this curtain down. I can then get the shell over to this area. Next big show is London to Brighton, which that is the ERA turbo, and that is being used on that, and I've basically got 2 weeks to get it ready. Hasn't been out since nearly 2 years. It's not been out. So I've got to get MOT'd. I've had the speedometer repaired and recalibrated, and I've got to, Lucy's got to replace the speedo cable as well. So yeah, that's the plan next. So next week, ERA out and back on the road. This one, well, obviously summer's coming. Once it's on the ramp, then I will probably I'll have a few freer weekends now because the workload's getting better. So yeah, probably through the summer, maybe get the subframes built up and on, but it's probably, if I'm quite honest, it's probably going to go into the winter workshop period again. So I'll do what I can, but yeah, summer's always busy with mini shows and other things we do and work. So yeah, it might be a few weeks. So see you on the next one. Thank you very much.